And speaking of good things, I mentioned as we opened up this particular episode that we have an encore performance here, or encore interview. I'm delighted to be able to introduce to you Jean King and Lexen Sternberg, who is with the Grand Haven Earth Day activities. Welcome back to Lakeshore Living.
Glad to be here.
Good to have both of you here, and I know it was about a year ago that we had the two of you here. But in case somebody may have missed that episode, would you indulge us and tell us a little bit about yourself and your connection to this particular topic? And Jean, would you honor us first?
Sure. This is our 7th year of having a celebration, and it has grown each year somewhat. It started at Christ Community Church with us inviting everybody, and then it moved to a park in Spring Lake, and then to Mulligan's Hollow Park in Grand Haven. And now, since the weather seems to be a little iffy, we now are in Central Park in Grand Haven and across the street at the community center. So it doesn't matter what the weather is, we'll be there.
Happens. Now, about you, have you been involved from the all 7 years then? Or?
Yeah, from the get-go.
Yeah?
Always have been interested in taking care of Mom Earth because she needs to take care of us.
Yep.
If we vanish, nobody's going to notice in the rest of the animal kingdom or plant kingdom. But it's pretty important that we take care of as much of the earth as we can so that we can be sustained as people.
Well stated, and thank you for that. Lexen, how about yourself?
Well, I've been involved with the Earth Day Committee for the past 3 years. I went to the one the year before that. Since then, I've more or less become the person who's in charge of Earth Rock and the Facebook page. I'm personally a huge environmentalist. I can't support the cause enough. Don't own a car, ride my bike just about everywhere I go, have a solar panel array set up in my backyard, and tinker around with a bunch of environmental projects in my garage.
So has that been something that was just came natural to you, or is it something that you kind of discovered along your way of life?
Well, I actually had a high school teacher cue me in on the environmental movement and, showed me a lot of stuff that really alerted me to the types of things that we were doing to our environment. And so gradually over time, I decided that this was going to be something I'd start taking seriously.
Yeah.
So I was overjoyed when I heard about the Earth Day Committee and Earth Rock and all that stuff, because that just fit right in with everything.
Well, and thank goodness for those high school teachers that are inspirations to so many of us in so many different ways. So, tell us a little bit about the Grand Haven Earth Day celebration, the Lakeshore Earth celebration.
Well, why don't we start with Lexen, and he can talk about Earth Rock since that starts on Friday night,
Sure.
the 20th.
We kick off the event with Earth Rock, which has been a tradition going back to the beginning, I believe.
Not quite, but almost.
Pretty close to the beginning.
Yeah.
Basically, it's environmentally themed event that's free to the public. And this year we have 2 bands and we have 4 solo artists with some poets mixed in. And that's going to be at the community center Friday, April 20th. And that's going to kick off the event. And so I'm very excited that that's going on.
And you said that was free?
Absolutely free.
From 7 to 10
Correct.
At the community center. And so you've got a real diverse amount of talent that's coming out for this.
Yeah. With a lot of the events we host in Grand Haven, we usually stick around genre or something along those lines. But for this one, it's all just Earth theme. So any musicians, any poets that would fit with that are welcome.
That's fantastic. How many people do you expect might come out, or how many have you experienced in past years?
Boy, that's a tough question. I don't know. It really varies dramatically. We got a lot of bands that have a very supportive fan base, so we're hoping to break some records this year.
Great. Oh, great. And then your role is helping to orchestrate or coordinate that whole evening's worth of talent? And how about you yourself? Did I miss it? Are you on stage?
No, I'm not on stage this year. I have been in years past, but I'm between bands, as it were. So this year I'm orchestrating, making sure all the bands get to where they need to go on time, making sure the sound works and all that, and making sure that everybody has a has an enjoyable evening.
That's well, and it wouldn't happen if you didn't have people like yourself that help to execute all of that. So thank you for your gifts and such. And so tell us a little bit what's going to happen on Saturday, Gene.
On Saturday at 9 o'clock, anybody who wants to participate in a yoga activity can come to the community center, and Barb Carlson will be there. She does a very gentle yoga type program. So anybody who's never done it but would like to try and see how that works with their body in terms of helping them be a little more flexible and a little stronger.
So is it adaptable for both the well season as well as the never done it before? Okay.
Right.
And that was at 9 o'clock at the community center.
Right.
And I think you said my favorite four-letter word, that was free.
That's free.
Okay.
Everything is free. About noon at the Franklin Street parking lot across the street from the new courthouse, we'll be gathering for our march, and we'll march down the main drag and then back up Columbus to the community center. And that's a green march, which means we don't have any gasoline-propelled vehicles or anything like that. So you're on your skateboard or your feet or your roller skates, or we do have
horsepower?
No, we keep hoping, but we haven't
Not yet. Okay.
We haven't found anybody with a wheelbarrow and a broom yet to go with it, you know. And
because you can recycle that too, you know.
Yeah, you bet. Yeah. We do have the Harbor Transit come with a couple of buses.
Oh, good.
And we have signs on that says "Ride Together" and also "Ride Mass Transit," because that's a coming thing, and we really need to encourage everybody. Yeah. And I think people might be a little more responsive this year since the gas is over $4 a gallon.
Kidding. So where does the Harbor Transit go? I mean, does it?
It goes this year, starting in January. It goes into Grand Haven Township, and it's in Grand Haven, Ferrysburg, Spring Lake, and I think Spring Lake Township.
I think so.
I'm not positive about that, but you call ahead and let them know where you need to go, and then what time you need to be picked up, and I guess pretty much they can manage that. Yep.
That's fantastic.
So
good.
So they'll be part of the parade too.
Okay.
But that's the only thing on wheels.
That's the only thing on wheels are powered.
Right,
like
powered. Right. Bikes are definitely in
human
the picture.
Powered and yeah.
Right.
Wow.
So
that's a parade that starts at noon.
Yes, a little afternoon maybe, but they'll end up at the community center by 1 o'clock, and that's when the fair opens, and that's free to everybody. There will be a few booths where things may be purchased. You can get food from Lucy's Deli, which will be available there. It's all healthy food, anything from fruit cups to wraps, and I think even peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
That sounds good
for
to
the
me.
kids. Yes.
For big kids too. So when you say fair, we're not talking about carnival, we're talking about an earth fair.
We're talking about an earth fair where organizations that are involved in various environmental projects talk about that, and there are school groups that come. There are businesses that are there. Lakeshore Environmental has always been a big part of it. They help companies lay out their plans for their land and to make the best use of it. And they do, JF New is there. They do plant coverings, a lot of native plants, so that you don't have to spend a lot of money on fertilizers and maintenance of your yards and things.
Actually, it looks like we might have a picture from last year's event.
Okay, that's the museum. She was there showing Native American projects, I think. There's a basket there, and there's some of the materials that were used for making baskets. That is in the community center.
Fantastic.
Right.
So the fair has a lot of different sounds like educational opportunities as well as experimental opportunities for people of all ages.
And there's lots for the kids to do. This year at the parade, the Spring Lake Elementary School students who are in the choir at both of their schools get together and they sing environmental songs for a concert, I think, right there in their own schools, but they're going to come march in the parade, and then sing as a group, either in the park if it's a really nice day, or in the community center in the auditorium.
Oh, that'll be a special treat.
So
Wow.
then there are groups. Jamie Krupka from the Outdoor Discovery Center will be there with his animals for people to see and touch. And there's a young man named Joel Darling who has a business in Muskegon, and he works with kids and has projects and activities for the kids to do, having to do with why we in the Midwest should be interested in what happens in the oceans.
Oh, wow.
And he's pretty fabulous about that. In fact, he's one of the key elements that this year, for the first time, Muskegon has an Earth Day week that will take place a week after our event. And
Okay.
he'll be helping with that.
One of the things I saw on your flyer that really intrigued me was this rain barrel workshop. And that's the one that sounds like has a cost associated with it. But tell me a little bit about what that's, and do I need to register in advance for that workshop?
I don't know how many people have registered already. I'll maybe find out. We have a meeting tomorrow night. But it means that for your $30, you're going to roll away your own rain barrel.
Oh,
And, it will
I hear
have
a polka song coming on right now.
it will have a way for you to have the water come off your roof and go into the barrel, and then there'll be a spigot that you'll put in the barrel that you can attach a hose to to water your plants or do
I have
whatever
to
you
tell
want to
you,
do.
my grandmother was religious about utilizing rainwater, and I had never met anyone that had more beautiful plants than she did. And I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that she was just recycling Mother Earth's gifts and putting it right back into the plants and stuff. So that you're actually going to make your own rain barrel and walk out with that to be able to use at home. That's fantastic.
And then you'll also know what it is you can order. If you want to hook several together, you can do that. And you could, having learned how, you can just go ahead and make your own.
Yeah.
Fill up your neighborhood with rain barrels.
Well, that wouldn't be such a bad thing, would it?
No.
That will happen. There's one workshop from 1 to 2, so getting right underway right away, and then one from 3 to 4.
Okay.
And we'll see. I don't know how many people will come for that, but
Yeah.
I know I'm very excited for that.
It does sound like an interesting.
I
With
need
your
to-
bike, you're going to have to find a creative way to get it home. I can just say, you better start planning that.
I've carried some large things home on my bike before.
The other things that are happening we haven't mentioned, Goodwill will be there this year. They will have their truck there also. So if you have things that, particularly electronic things, TV or something like that you want to recycle, you can bring it, and there'll be a place for you to get rid of it. And also the local band Prevailing Winds will be playing. And the one last thing is Critterman's coming.
Okay, Critterman sounds interesting. Talk to me about who Critterman is.
He is an outdoor educator. He lives in the Kalamazoo area. His name is Yas, and he comes in a bearskin.
Is this him that we've got on?
That's Yas, yes indeed. And he talks with people, and particularly very well with kids, about the mammals and the animals of this area, and how it connects with their care and the environment, and what kids can do, or he draws that out of the kids. So he's just a lot of fun because he talks gruff, and he even says that he eats garlic beforehand because, after all, if you're a mammal, you have an odor, and he wants to be in character.
Wow. Well, I guess he really takes that to the max, and it sounds fascinating. And any way that you can engage young people to be able to make them more aware and connect them, all the power to them for taking that approach.
Absolutely.
Well, an event like this or a couple of days like this doesn't happen on its own. Is it just the two of you pulling this together, or do you have sponsors and volunteers and people behind the scenes?
We certainly have quite a few volunteers.
Yeah.
Lexen and I have not seen each other except just briefly here and there since a year ago.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Because he works with a couple of people on the Earth Day committee on the Earth Rock, and doesn't necessarily make it to the meetings that I go to where we're working about the fair. And I've been gone for 3 months, so I'm just catching up on who all is already signed up and who else I need to talk to. But there are probably between a dozen and 20 people who are pretty well involved, and some people now pretty well know what their job is, so they just go ahead and go at it.
Yep, absolutely.
And we're always hatching new ideas, so you never know.
Yeah.
Critter Man this year, we'll see what happens next year.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised, you know. I just was so delighted when we had you on last, and just think that this is such a great celebration. And so you've got some volunteers that help make it happen. How about sponsors? I mean, are there people that are behind you and helping to bring this together as well?
There are, and I'm going to just take the liberty of reading them because I don't want to miss anybody. Cardino, JF New, that's a new name. Cardino, I guess it is. Shape Corporation, Lakeshore Environmental, Bata Plastics, Herman Miller Foundation, Light Corporation,
Yeah.
and
Looks like
Wetland Watch is our mother organization. It's a small 501c3 in the Spring Lake area that works on making sure the wetlands are not torn apart or covered over, and they help us out by being our connection in terms of the finances. So.
Yeah. Well, you've got some incredible sponsors, and it sounds like some well-dedicated and trained volunteers, and now all we need to do is make sure that the community shows up.
Right.
I don't think there'll be any problem with this. It sounds like a fantastic day. It's April 20, which is Earth Rock. And then all day, well, not all day, but a good portion of the day on the 21st.
Right. Yep.
And anything else you want to share with our audience, or parting words of wisdom? I mean, I think this will get people quite engaged, but I think there's also those small little incremental things that people can do on a daily basis that make a big difference. And any things that you would want to share? I mean, obviously, Lexen, you've taken it to the max. No car, you've got solar panels and whatnot. But what are some small things that people could do that?
We have some posters that we give people who are marching that say, "Use it up, wear it out, make it do or do without."
Use it up, wear it out, make it do or do without.
Right.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
So that's certainly one big thing. And the other big thing is to have the adults listen to their kids, because their kids know. They're learning in school what needs to be done. And just like they say, "Mom, why do you smoke?"
Yeah.
They're probably saying, "What? Mom, why do you let the water run when you're brushing your teeth? You don't need to do that."
Yeah.
And so I think the kids can lead us in a lot of good ways to taking care of the world.
Absolutely.
And it's such a cool event because it's such a nice atmosphere where you have all these people getting together, and they all have their little expertise, and they give their little spiel about the way to help the world. And it's just so nice to get all these people under one roof, talking to each other and having this conversation with the community.
Yeah. I don't know if I could have said it any better. That's fantastic. Well, thank you both for coming back to Lakeshore Living.
You're welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Sharing your passion and the impact that you're making on Mother Earth and on all these different individuals. And we really honor what you're doing and appreciate the leadership that you're giving and helping to facilitate this. So Hope you have an awesome 20 and 21st of April.
It will be sunny. It will be warm.
I think it will be. I know in Holland there won't be any tulips by then, but I have a feeling that you're going to have some great weather there. So this will be wonderful. Thanks again for coming on, and we'll take a moment here to give some recognition to our sponsors, and we'll be right back.